Of breaking news, a big house fire in St. Paul.
And we have just learned that 7 people, 6 of them children, were injured and are now in the hospital. All of this happening within the past couple of hours at a home on Arkwright Street North. So Cece just spoke to the man who lived there, the child's father. And Cece, what is the very latest?
Right. The very latest is that police actually had to call the man who owned the home in from work and tell him about the situation. He said he rushed over here and he told me that he didn't know the condition of his home at this point this morning, but he does know that he's rushing to the hospital right now because his wife and his 6 children were inside the home at the time of the fire this morning. So that is the latest on that. As far as here at the scene, things are actually starting to calm down here for the most part. And I was telling you all morning for the past couple of hours that the road here, they were blocking it off. Now it's just in front of the home that's blocked off with police tape. If you can see there, a crew is here boarding up the home still, but I do believe that they're kind of wrapping up those efforts as well. Smell of smoke is still kind of lingering in the air here this morning, but for the most part, everything's calming down. Squad cars have also started to leave this morning, so just a lot of things wrapping up on our end here at this point. But again, the latest thing that we're learning this morning is that 6 kids, 1 woman inside the home. Again, still waiting to learn the condition, but since it's being boarded up, you know, you can only kind of imagine what the condition inside is. I'll be back with more information and the latest update in about 30 minutes. Jason, Alicia.
Oh, how awful. Our heart breaks for that father who had to race to the home to find his family, all taken to the hospital this morning. Cece Gaines, stay on top of it. We, of course, will check back in with you in about 30 minutes.
I just hope everybody pulls through there.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you stay with us. Cece will be following this breaking story throughout the morning. We'll continue to update you as soon as we learn more. All right, for now, it is 6:02. Time to get over to John for a look at the forecast. Got some winter weather moving in our direction, John. It's just a matter of, you know, how much it will impact us.
Right, exactly. Yeah, regardless, you're right. We're going to get some type of winter weather. It's just how much. We're talking 1 or 2 inches. We're talking something major, and that's what we're going to be looking at the next 5 days. Waking up this morning, warm, very warm. Probably one of the last really warm mornings for a long time. 27 in Brainerd, 23-20 in Thief River Falls area, still at 32. But today, this is kind of our high temperature for the day. So you've got this cold front. You can see where it goes from west to north. There it is. Cold front's coming through right now. Winds are going to pick up. It's going to be breezy as we drive in these cooler temperatures. So you've got that wind today at 10 to 15. Temperatures coast down into the 20s. So what is the story here? Quiet end of the week. Weekend light snow. We'll talk about that in detail. But the big question here is we have a major snowstorm that could be a close call. So we'll be looking at that closely.
All right, well, I'll be waiting, pins and needles, for this snowstorm to arrive next week. John, thank you. Look at the map this morning. It's quiet. Roads are in great shape. If you have anywhere to be early this morning here around the Twin Cities Metro, drive times around the 694, 494 loop are average. If you're traveling between Minneapolis and St. Paul on 94, just 8 minutes in both directions. Turning now to some of our top local headlines. A Plymouth man will serve more than 2 decades in prison for the death of a 17-year-old Rogers High School student. August Sirleaf pleaded guilty to the 2022 murder of Yassine Johnson. He was shot and killed after trying to buy a pair of shoes. Sirleaf will receive credit for over a year served and be required to pay Johnson's family $8,500 in restitution. A Meeker County man is facing second-degree murder and child endangerment charges this morning for allegedly shooting his wife in the head in front of their children last week. Deputies say they were sent to the couple's home in Dassel Township after Brian Demare called dispatch admitting to the crime. Demare told investigators he and his wife had been arguing over money and alleged extramarital affair.
Now to a story we broke yesterday on Sunrise. This morning we're learning new details on a plane collision at Tokyo's airport. So take a look at this. This is surveillance footage capturing the moment when a Japan Airlines Airbus carrying 379 passengers collided with a Japanese Coast Guard plane. The larger jet was cleared to land, but this morning questions are being raised as to why the Coast Guard plane was on the same runway. Experts say it has been decades since we've seen something like this happen.
In the last few years, we've had some near misses, some close calls, but this one, to have the airplane actually land and strike the other one, this reinforces the NTSB's concern about runway incursions.
So everyone was safely evacuated off the bigger jet, but officials confirmed only the pilot from the Coast Guard plane survived and the other 5 crew members were killed. We've also learned the Coast Guard plane was on its way to help with the recent earthquake disaster in Japan that killed at least 64 people.
We're hearing new details this morning about the death of one of the top leaders in Hamas and how it could signal a new and extremely dangerous phase in the war in the Middle East. Here's Josh Letterman with the latest from Israel.
Hey there, good morning. Israel is bracing for potentially massive retaliation from across the Middle East after Hamas says that an Israeli airstrike assassinated a top Hamas leader in Beirut. This was the #2 political leader in Hamas, who was also a founder of the militant wing of Hamas. And while Israel is not commenting one way or another, there are signs that there are going to be massive protests, with many different groups now threatening to punish Israel for that assassination. We are also learning more about Israel's plans for what should happen in Gaza after Hamas, with an Israeli official telling me Israel foresees having local clans or tribes in the Gaza Strip administer the civilian functions of government while Israel controls the security in the Gaza Strip indefinitely. We'll have all of the details coming up this morning on Today.
Time now 6:06, an update this morning in the ballot battles involving former President Donald Trump. In the last 24 hours, his team appealed a ruling in Maine that disqualified him from the state's 2024 primary ballot. Maine Secretary of State ruled Trump is barred from being on the ballot because of his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump is also expected to appeal a similar decision in Colorado, where the state Supreme Court removed him from the ballot. Now, those justices in Colorado have been facing threats since delivering their ruling last week. And now police in Denver say they have arrested a man who broke into the Colorado Supreme Court and fired shots inside. Colorado State Patrol says no one was injured, but there was extensive damage. Police are investigating a motive, but they say they don't think it's tied to the decision to keep Trump off the primary ballot.
Back home in St. Louis Park, Nadia Mohammed is making history as the city's new mayor. She's believed to be the first Somali American elected mayor in the country and is taking over after serving as an at-large city council member since 2020. When we first spoke with her after the election, she said she was humbled and aware of this milestone.
Well, my identity is one part of my story, right? I am proud of everything that I am, but I don't want that to be the only story. I don't want that to where people stop their conversation, right? This is a milestone and this is not a destination, right? There's more to do and more to come.
Mohammed says her top priorities are public safety, getting police officers more involved in the community, and affordable housing. Well, Golden Valley is also making history, swearing in its first black mayor. We introduced you to Rosalind Harmon yesterday here on Sunrise. She's a longtime teacher and therapist who's lived in Golden Valley for 30 years. She won the election by just 26 votes. In her campaign, she promised to focus on public safety, affordable housing, and a more transparent budget.